The madness of March, amid a crippling economic collapse and unprecedented political polarization, brought Germany closer than ever to a dangerous turning point. This is the rise of Hitler. In this context, Adolf Hitler reaffirmed his position within the Nazi movement, emphasizing the SA as the backbone of the party. In his March 7th Munich speech, he stressed that the SA was not merely an organization that could be disbanded, but a direct extension of himself and the movement itself. Despite his repeated pronouncements of commitment to the Constitution and the legal path to power, he implicitly made it clear that this choice was less about respecting democracy and more about avoiding a losing military confrontation, while preserving the SA as a crucial instrument for building the future Third Reich. Meanwhile, the state moved into an even more repressive phase. On March 28th, President Paul von Hindenburg issued a new emergency decree to combat political unrest, granting the police broad powers to suspend fundamental freedoms, ban meetings and rallies, confiscate political propaganda, and even outlaw entire organizations if violence recurred. The stated aim was to curb the wave of assassinations and incitement that had paralyzed the country, but the decree raised deep concerns that it would become a permanent tool of repression, especially with the suspension of Reichstag sessions until October. This effectively meant that governance was carried out by presidential decrees rather than parliamentary legislation. Politically, the Nazis' move to boycott the Reichstag was a grave strategic error that backfired completely. Theoretically, Parliament was the only instrument capable of curbing the powers of the President and the government by revoking or limiting the emergency decrees. But with the Nazis' withdrawal and their abandonment of their parliamentary seats, this weapon fell from their hands. Their absence deprived the Reichstag of the simple majority required to repeal the emergency decree, effectively paralysing Parliament, rendering it powerless to oversee or enforce its will. In this vacuum, Chancellor Heinrich Brüning and President Paul von Hindenburg consolidated an exceptional form of governance based on presidential decrees instead of parliamentary legislation. In practice, the centre of power shifted from the Parliament to the presidential palace, and the state was governed from the top down, without the need for party agreements or arduous voting. What the Nazis intended as a tool to expose the deficiencies of the system became a mechanism that allowed the system itself to bypass and marginalize them. Politically, this shift also carried a dangerous message. Democracy had not been defeated by a coup, but rather eroded from within, through legal procedures used under the guise of protecting the regime. This sparked widespread concern both within Germany and abroad, as it appeared that the Republic could now function without an effective parliament, a development that weakened democratic culture and reinforced the idea of exceptional rule in the public consciousness. While the Nazis believed that the boycott would hasten the government's collapse, it actually contributed to consolidating the power of their opponents, granting them the time and space to govern the country without effective parliamentary opposition. Thus, instead of bringing down Brüning's government, they helped establish a dangerous political precedent. A state governed by law, yes, but without the democratic spirit that was supposed to protect it. Externally, the announcement of a proposed customs union between Germany and Austria sparked a diplomatic crisis, particularly with France, which viewed it as a devious step toward annexation, prohibited under the Treaties of Versailles and Saint-Germain. While Berlin and Vienna defended the agreement as an economic measure to combat unemployment and financial collapse, many saw it as a prelude to a dangerous political shift that would redraw the map of Central Europe. Domestically, the Nazis also suffered a significant blow with the collapse of their governing coalition in Thuringia on March 13th, ending their first experience of participation in a regional government. The actions of Nazi Interior Minister Wilhelm Frick, his constitutional clashes with the federal government, and his political insults to his allies led to the withdrawal of the German People's Party from the coalition, a setback that exposed the limits of the Nazis' ability to govern within the existing framework. Globally, March reflected a state of widespread turmoil. An international wheat conference in Rome amid accusations that the Soviets were dumping wheat on the markets. Controversy intensified in the United States following the Scottsboro Boys affair. Revolutionary executions and growing demands for independence took place in India, and the American national anthem was officially adopted. Amid a crippling economic collapse and unemployment exceeding 5 million, Germany is heading toward deeper polarization. Social despair is fueling the rise of extremist communists and neo-Nazis, while the ruling democratic parties, particularly the Social Democrats and the Brüning government, are increasingly seen as an establishment incapable of saving the country. With no clear electoral indicators, the question remains: will this mood shift, or will it become even more extreme? Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.